How's it going, guys? Welcome to the 10-ounce Fight Club. And my name's Eliah, and I'm here with...
I'm James.
And yeah, so we're going to be breaking down last week's fight night, Vegas, and then we're going to be going over 286, the pay-per-view coming up here on Saturday. So,
all right, let's get to it. What fight are we starting off with here?
I think let's start off with the submission win with Bruno Silva. The submission win he got over Tyson Nam. We talked about it in our little group chat. That front kick was nasty.
That was insane.
He landed, and Bruno Silva is definitely got to keep him on the radar. He's coming up. I think this is a 5-fight win streak for him. He has some pretty good wins over his opponents. Tyson Nam is a tough dude.
I had Tyson Nam winning that fight until he ate that front kick, and then Bruno Silva just jumped on him.
Yeah. It was a good sequence there. And then I think the next one we can talk about is one of the more notable wins is Davy Grant's win over the Rafael Sunsao, who then retired after the fight. So, James, what did you think about Davy Grant's performance? It was quite a scrap, huh?
It was quite a fight. I had Rafael Sunsao winning that fight at that moment, where he was in control, and Davy Grant was grabbing the fence. And I don't know. I didn't know. Watching it in real time, I felt like they should have gave the position back to Sunsao. I thought that's what they were going to do. But it was up to Sunsao to get back to it, and unfortunately he got caught. And then that sequence of events where Davy Grant was upside down, got that inverted triangle.
Yes.
And then I knew he was asleep. I was sitting there, I'm like, he's asleep. He's out. And then he started messing with his hand. I'm like, no, he's out. You gotta let him go.
Yeah, that was a crazy sequence there. Because Davy rocked him, I think in the second round.
Yeah.
And pretty bad. And then Sunsao recovered really well. Sunsao looked pretty good in this fight for how dangerous Davy is. Yeah.
He was flowing.
And he was mixing in the grappling really well. But just in that last round, Davy, knew he had to get a finish and rocked him. And then just, there's a grappling sequence that occurred. And somehow, Davy Grant got that insane inverted triangle. Yeah. But yeah. So, congratulations to, Sunsao being able to retire. And, some of the great fights that he was able to put on for the promotion. And, we always just want to give respect and a shout out to the fighters that, gave all those years and all that time to the octagon.
He devoted his life to martial arts, and what a fantastic martial artist Rafael Sunsao still is and will continue to be.
Yeah. Another fight I want to talk about was Mario Bautista's win over Kennedy. Bautista, man, he's just looking like a killer. The fight streak that he's on, I'm not sure the number of fights that he's on, but that dude is very talented and very dangerous in this division.
Yeah, you got Mario Bautista now on at least 4-fight win streak, and let's go back here. You've got 3 of those are first-round submissions in a row. His last 3 fights, he had Brian Kelleher, then Benito Lopez, and now Guido Kennedy for 3 first-round submission finishes.
Yeah.
That's quite a streak to be on.
The kid's super talented, and he's so young. And this division really has to start preparing for this guy because he is, I think he gets a good ranked opponent next. And, I'm excited to see where he goes from here after this great win.
In a division that could not be more stacked.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think you can stack a division higher than the bantamweight division right now.
Is there anyone in the top 15 in that 10 to 15 range that you could see him maybe getting in there with?
Let's see who we got in the top 15 right now. Does anyone come to mind for you, just, coming off the tongue?
Man, I think with a fighter like this, you might want to usually the UFC, I don't agree with the matchmaking, but what they like to do is they like to, throw a older veteran fighter against a new up-and-comer. So, dude, I'm thinking, did he call anyone out? I can't remember if Mario called anyone out after the fight.
I can't recall either. But I mean, you got Jonathan Martinez, who's right there.
Yeah, he just got in
at 14. You've got Pedro Munoz. I know Adrian Yanez is booked. Is Chris Gutierrez booked right now?
No, but I think they're gonna, with the win off of Frankie, I think they're gonna give him
something bigger, maybe Song Yadong.
Maybe either that dude or maybe like a Petr Yan or something like that. I don't know if he was itching to fight, because I mean he didn't take any damage in that fight with Frankie, but yeah, I don't know. The person I was kind of thinking about maybe for Mario is maybe like Dominic Cruz, dude. I mean, we know how the UFC likes to match make sometimes, where they give, an older guy, kind of
a younger up and comer.
Yeah.
Well, why not even Song Yadong with Mario Batista?
Yeah,
I mean, Song Yadong's ranked number 8. Mario Batista is currently unranked.
Yeah,
but he does have 3 first-round submission finishes. I mean, number 8's a great way to introduce yourself to the rest of the ranked division.
Yeah, and Song has really good striking. It'd be interesting to see how Bautista deals with that. And Song Yadong hits hard, man. He hits hard. He's a tank, dude. So, yeah.
That'd be a fun matchup.
All right, and then going to another bantamweight fight, Jonathan Martinez versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. We were really high on Nurmagomedov coming into this fight.
We really were, and he was hot in that first round as well.
Yeah, the striking was looking really good from Saeed in the first round, and then Jonathan was able to kind of control the tempo of the fight, and I feel like he kind of like slowed it down to his pace, and then got the excellent clinch work from Jonathan Martinez, landing some nice elbows, and then just kind of getting a little bit, the better of the grappling exchanges, I feel, too.
He was landing some big shots in there as well. You know what I mean? He really was mixing it up well and pushing, like you said, controlling the pace against Saeed, and that's what earned him the decision.
Yeah. Okay, going on to the catchweight bout, the previously scheduled Krylov versus Ryan Spann. I think we were picking Spann to win this fight as well.
I had Spann by knockout in this fight, especially with his win over Reyes, the way he had it. Mm-hmm. But who would have thought that this would have been grappling exchanges and high-level grappling exchanges?
Yeah.
I mean, how many submission threats were there?
Yeah, the pace was insane between both men, trying to get subs and just going for better positions and stuff. It was a very, very entertaining and fast-paced fight in the grappling side.
Without a doubt.
With Krylov, he's kind of like flying underneath the radar, I feel, in this division. Not a lot of people are like talking about him or calling for him to fight anyone, but he's put together a really nice streak. I think his last loss was Johnny Walker.
Let's take a look at that.
And you wonder who he would face in this division next. I mean, maybe someone like Jan Blachowicz or maybe Ankalaev.
Yeah, let's see. His last loss was Paul Craig at the beginning of 2022, actually March of 2022. And then he beat Gustafsson. Right, He knocked out Gustafsson. And then he beat Volkan by decision. Mm-hmm. And then now Spann by submission.
Okay.
So, he's running pretty well.
He's good streak going, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about Paul Craig.
Maybe that was that Paul Craig rematch. That's not a bad fight.
Yeah. That was a sharp sub by Paul Craig. I love watching Paul Craig fight. Just, the striking, is kind of a little bit, lacking, but I think that's what gives people the confidence, and then they get put in bad situations.
What was Paul Craig's last fight?
He fought.
I don't know.
Was it Volkan Ozdemir?
Might have been. I don't know, but I bet Paul Craig's feeling really well knowing he's got a win over the current champ at light heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a good win over Ankalaev as well.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to that co-main from last weekend. We got Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. And we both thought that Romanov could have got the better of Volkov if he could bring the tower down and find a way to finish him on the ground. But Volkov did what Volkov does, and he used those straight shots to keep Romanov at bay and use that takedown defense, and then he actually ended up being the one on top.
Yeah. Romanov's grappling has looked so good in the past, and I think Volkov was able to kind of put himself in a better position and kind of make Romanov gas out trying to get that takedown. The one thing I did want to talk about, because we saw, Davey Grant get the point taken away for the fence grab, and it was weird. Mark Smith was very lenient on some of the fence grabs and some of the fouls going on, but we saw Peterson take that point away from Davy Grant. And, so do you think that played a big factor, that little fence grab that Volkov did? I mean, I'd have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch. I wasn't really looking at that, but yeah, I mean, it could have. I'd have to go back and check that out.
But yeah, I think it's just interesting. I would like to see a little more consistency between all the refs on like how they're judging fouls and like, do they take a point away or not? Because I mean, we know every fighter's reminded before each fight. And so yeah, it would just be good to see a little bit more kind of equality between all the refs on how they judge those fouls.
You know what? I'm actually thinking about it more. I'm going to have to go back on that. No, man. Romanov was pretty gassed after that first takedown attempt, and Volkov stopped him. And Volkov pretty much took over right after that.
Yeah.
It was his fight from then on out.
Yeah. And I mean, Volkov has like a ton of experience. And so,
who currently in the heavyweight division outside maybe John Jones?
Yeah.
Just UFC experience, but I mean, Volkov's got 46 professional fights.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of those were in, an M1. And then, coming over to the UFC, he has quite, a veteran career. And so it's cool to see that he's still able to put together some nice wins at his age and then, this long in the UFC. So,
no doubt.
All right, let's go on to the main event. So Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. And Merab, we kind of thought that Petr Yan was his time to like show everyone that he's still there.
Again.
Yeah.
I was wrong again.
Yeah. And Merab just put down a grappling, kind of like a takedown attempt clinic.
He just wouldn't get off him.
He
would not stop going after him and getting on him. And he was even landing that right hand. I was calling for him to just, put a couple of them together and really send it. But he was just using those little feints and those little shots to set up his entries. And then he'd go in there, grab him. If he couldn't get the takedown, he'd just push him all the way up against the fence and control him for a little bit. And I mean, Petr Yan's takedown defense could not have been better, but it was all he could do just to survive.
Yeah. And, I was talking to to my wife about this is, you have now 3 training camps that Sarah Longo has had against Petr Yan. So, is it Petr Yan has like fell off, or do these guys, this camp, do they have the code to crack Petr Yan?
I was saying that to the group. I was saying, although I'm taking Petr Yan to win the fight, I'm fully aware that Merab and Aljo, like you said, Sarah Longo, all those guys have, like you said, 3 training camps against the same guy. And Merab and Aljo had to have been some of each other's main training partners for this. So they knew exactly what they were going into. But the same could be said for Yan having 3 training camps against the same camp,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Unfortunately, Petr Yan, who I think is far better than his current record would say he is, at least his last few fights. I think they get him another big fight again. I don't think this is the last of Petr Yan.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Merab.
Yeah.
And Merab, you are going to have to fight Aljamain Sterling eventually if he stays in the bantamweight division. Yeah. You guys can't just hang out at the top and hold hands. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like Merab is like the knight guarding the king there up at the top.
Yeah.
But no, Merab's cardio was insane this fight too. Like just the amount of takedowns he was able to shoot. And then also what really surprised me too was the striking seemed to have improved from the Jose Aldo fight. We just saw, maybe there was a respect issue when Merab fought Jose Aldo, but I feel like in this fight with Petr Yan, he had a lot more, he was able to strike a lot more than he was fighting Aldo and stuff like that.
This is the first time we've ever seen Merab come in and try to make it personal, right? Where he was talking a little bit of shit in a way that it seemed like he was actually angry about it. And then another thing I want to take note of is Merab's physique. He actually looked a little different compared to how we normally see him. He looked a little more cut. And, At least I thought so, compared to like the Jose Aldo fight and the Marlon Moraes fight, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, Merab is definitely, kind of like the boogeyman that no one probably wants to fight just because of the wrestling, the high level of wrestling that he has.
The pace.
Yeah.
Just the pace.
The cardio is insane.
Yeah, you got it. Because, if someone's coming at you that fast for that long, it's all you can do. It's all Petr Yan can do to stay alive.
Yeah. So what do you do? What do you do with both guys after this fight? What do you do for Petr Yan? Let's start out with that.
For Petr Yan, I think, I'm going to have to, good thing I saved this. I think Petr Yan could take the loser between Sandhagen and Cheeto.
Okay.
Unless that happens to be Sandhagen. I mean, although that fight was fireworks, I don't know if we need to see them do that again. If they're both coming off a loss, maybe you could give him Umar.
Yeah, that would be a big,
because that's a hot shot contender. Although he's 11, it's Peter Yan's stock does rise with a win over Umar.
Yeah. I think the only thing that might stop that fight from happening is I know that the team that Umar has, they're very respectful, and they show a lot of respect for Petr Yan and his camp and stuff like that. I know the one fight I'm waiting for it to happen, and I think we could see the winner of this fight getting a shot at Petr Yan would be the winner of Rob Font and Adrian Yanez.
I could see that
because I think the timeline matches up too, because we have that fight between Font and Yanez going down pretty soon, and Petr Yan's going to need to take some time off to recover from his injuries, and same thing with the winner of that fight between those two. So maybe that could happen. But what do you do? What do you do with Merab?
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. Because it begs another question here. What do you do with the bantamweight division? Next weekend, you've got Cheeto Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. That's an amazing fight. So you've got the winner of that coming in hot. You've got Merab coming in hot, and you've got Sean O'Malley coming in hot.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the winner between Cejudo and Aljamain. What do you do? I don't know. I think if we go way down that rabbit hole, I'd have to say that if Aljamain beats Cejudo, Aljamain vacates and moves on, and then you have 4 fighters between Cejudo, Sean, the winner of Cheeto Sandhagen, and Merab, and you figure it out from there.
Yeah, I can see something like that happening. We've heard Aljamain talk about it for a while about moving up to featherweight. I could definitely see something like Aljamain vacating, and maybe since the timing is right, and then UFC wants to fill cards with championship fights, maybe they do a vacant title fight between Merab and Sean. Because
Cejudo wins and he throws a wrench in our whole plan.
Which
I would love, by the way.
Yeah, there's always
Triple C.
There's always the Cejudo factor, right?
I'm Team Cejudo over here.
Yeah.
Sorry,
all right.
Aljo.
Is there anything else from this card that you wanted to break down, or should we move on to the pay-per-view?
Let's move on because I am itching for this one.
Awesome, yeah.
Let's get right into the main card here.
So, opening fight is going to be Juliana Miller, tough winner for the women's flyweight. And then we have it against Veronica Hardy, which is Dan Hardy's wife.
Are you on the early prelims?
Yeah, early prelims, yep.
There we are.
All right, guys, we're back. And, we were just talking about Juliana Miller, tough contestant versus Veronica Hardy. I know that Juliana Miller is heavy in the grappling. I don't know if you watched that season of Tough when she was on it. I believe it was, oh my gosh, it was Nunes.
Oh, I do
and
remember.
Pena, right?
Yes, I do remember her.
Yeah, because we had Juliana Miller winning the women's, and then Kamaru Usman's brother Mohammed Usman,
right.
winning the men's.
The men's heavyweight.
But Juliana Miller is heavy, in the grappling. She has, decent stand up, but I think mainly her game is going to probably be get this fight to the ground.
Yeah, to try to get that.
Use her jiu-jitsu. Veronica Hardy, I know that she's coming off kind of a layoff for a while. She's took some time away, and she's coming back, and good for her being able to come back. And recently married to Dan Hardy, so she's gonna have Dan Hardy in her corner. Some great advice, from him. We know that he's a great mind when it comes to MMA and breaking down opponents and stuff like that. So it should be an interesting fight to start the night. And then next 100%. Fight we have Ludovic.
I love their content together. They're fantastic on their breakdowns.
Yep. Full Reptile. Shout out to them. Great channel. Then we next fight of the night we have Jai Herbert versus Ludovic Klein, and
is Jai coming off? Is he coming off the Topuria fight?
I think he got another fight in at the last.
Yes, he did. He beat Kyle Nelson. That's right.
Yeah, so he does have a win underneath his belt. Kind of get the shakes away from getting that knockout loss.
Is that 3 fights in a row for him, all in the UK?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because he lost to Topuria, and then he got the win.
Won on Aspinall versus Blades against Kyle Nelson.
So, yeah, good for Jai being able to stick it. Keep his training camps local in the UK. And
I love his nickname too, the Black Country Banger.
yeah. And then Ludovic Klein, I've seen a couple of his fights. He had a good win over Shane Young. And I think it should be a good lightweight scrap. And
100%.
I think both these guys are probably in the top 25 in lightweight, so it'll be interesting. Next, we have Luana Carolina, versus Joanne Wood. And Joanne Wood, taking some time off as well and coming back, being able to fight, and have some kind of hometown support, from the Scottish fans and all that. So it should be a good fight. And then we got Jake Hadley versus Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon, I think, just fought Mohammed Mokaev, right?
I'll get that for you. I think so.
And then Jake Hadley is coming in. He's a Dana White Contender Series. It was kind of interesting when he got his contract. He was a fighter that actually missed weight on Dana White Contender Series.
I remember that.
Got a nice submission win, and Dana broke his rule about signing fighters that miss weight.
Yeah,
and it was a big deal, for them. And then his first fight in the UFC, I believe he lost unanimous decision. I think he fought a shoot-a box fighter in flyweight. I can't remember offhand, but
we got. Sorry, go ahead.
But I feel like the matchmakers did a good job pairing these two up. I think Malcolm Gordon's looking to get a win. Proving to the fans and to the UFC that he's still, relevant. And Jake Hadley is, I think coming in and he needs to, put down another opportunity and, show that he's still like relevant and that, he's ready for the UFC and stuff like that. So, and then we have this is kind of like my pick for maybe a potential fight of the night. We have Dusko Todorovic versus Christian Leroy Duncan.
Making his UFC debut.
Yep. And Leroy Duncan, I just heard about him a couple of days ago, but I guess he's a former is it NBA player? I believe.
Don't even know.
Yeah, I believe he's a former NBA player, and then the career wasn't much. He didn't have much success there, so he turned it over to mixed martial arts and 7-0. And I believe he's
it's nuts in middledweight.
Yeah, and I believe he was. I don't know which promotion he is coming from, but I believe he's a middleweight champ of that promotion. And then he's fighting Dusko Todorovic, which is, I think Dusko, he's not afraid to like stand and bang, but he also has the grappling, knowledge to, if he gets himself in a pickle, he can take the fight to the ground. But yeah, I'll have to look a little bit more at Leroy Duncan and see what his game is and all that stuff. But 7-0, making your UFC debut and on a London card, big card, and yeah, I think it could be a good fight. I think it could be fight of the night because both these guys have
Oh, they're gonna blow the roof off that place for sure. It's gonna be all action.
Yeah, they're gonna throw down for sure. And then one of my favorite fighters, we got Leron Murphy versus Gabriel Santos. I like Leron. He's had that really good knee knockout of Amir Khani. Amir Khani went in and shot for a takedown, and then Murphy hit that knee on him right as Amir Khani was coming in for the takedown and was able to get the knockout. And then I don't know much about Gabriel Santos. I think, is this another fighter making his debut?
Let's see what we got here for Gabriel Santos. It is another fighter making his UFC debut.
Okay, yeah.
And this will be good for Leron. He hasn't fought, or he hasn't had a lot of action. He missed all of 2022.
Yeah, he took some time off. I believe he was nursing kind of some injuries and stuff. So.
Right. He had 2 wins in 2021. And he had 1 in 2020. So it'd be good to get him back in the cage against a fighter making his UFC debut, and it'd be a good opportunity for both gentlemen to really show what they got.
Yeah, and Murphy trains with Dominic Cruz. So, it's good that he has someone that he's training with that has that championship mentality. And, both those guys work hard in their training and all that. So, all right, so that was the early prelims. And then now we're going to go to just the regular prelims. So we have Mohammed Mokaev versus, I believe that's Rafael Filho. And, man, Mohammed Mokaev, dude, that's another fighter in flyweight I'm, like, very high on right now.
Right. At this point, with the way Mohammed is going after people, it feels like they're just feeding him fighters
at
this point.
And, we saw him get that beautiful debut win at the first London when London opened back up and UFC came there for the first event. And yeah, this dude's very dangerous. You know, he's got really good, you know, dynamic striking, but the grappling, you know, he comes from that area, Dagestan areas, Chechnya area, where the guys know how to wrestle. And, you know, we've talked about it too. The American wrestling, you know, the American wrestling programs that we have in our colleges and high schools and stuff like that, it's so much different from what they do over there.
100%.
Dude. Just, you know, we've heard like Dustin Poirier talk about how, you know, maybe the guys aren't as, you know, it's not the strength, it's just the technique and how they know, and they know where to put their weight.
It's their understanding of leverage.
Yeah, it's
at least that's what you see in Khabib and Islam all the time, and you know even Hamzat. It's just their understanding. Well, Hamzat not so much. Hamzat just bullies people.
Yeah, right.
He just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, but no, I like Mokaev. I think he's a cool dude, and you know I his last fight with Gordon, I believe, he kind of showed a little bit of flaws maybe in the striking and stuff, but you know. This is a good opportunity to show everyone that, you know, that's irrelevant and he's still that dude, you know. So so do you have anything in this next one, Sam Peterson versus Yanel Ashmos?
No, bro, that's what I was telling you. We might as well. We're gonna have to cut a lot of this because I didn't miss that whole contender series. Like, I'm just going to go after it because we're going to have to cut some of this out. But, like, Mokaev was the only one I knew on there, and then Jack Shore and Makwan Americani are the only one I know off this one.
Okay, well,
if we go in the main card, I can talk to you about the main card for at least an hour.
Okay, yeah, I can finish up these last two because I know something about these last two. So, looking at this lightweight fight, we have Chris Duncan versus Omar Moraes, and Chris Duncan coming off a good win of the Contender Series. I don't know if you saw, it was a big highlight moment for him. He was getting rocked, and then kind of like halfway, midway rocked, his opponent just got way too eager, and he came in with the right hand and just put him out cold. And Dana freaked out, gave him the contract, and he's ready, and he's like ready to make this debut, this UFC debut. You know, he's had a tough run in the Contender Series, but he got that win, the good knockout win. And then Omar Moraes, I'm not too sure about him. He might be coming off the Contender Series as well, but
no, he's been in the UFC.
He's been okay. Sorry, my bad. My apologies. Yeah,
but he is coming off a 2-fight losing streak, but still 11-3. I mean, not bad at all, sitting at 11-3. But he is 8 years older than Chris Duncan, 37. With Chris Duncan being 29.
Mm-hmm.
So it does feel a little bit like they're trying to feed the old to the young here, but we'll see what Omar has to bring to the fight.
I think it's a good matchup for Chris Duncan. And then going on to a featherweight fight, this will be our featured prelim. We have Jack Tank Shore versus Makwan Americani. Jack Shore, former bantamweight, suffered his first loss at bantamweight and decided to make the move up to featherweight. And Jack's a very talented fighter, very young, 16 and 1. And yeah, I think it's a good matchup with Americani because Americani's going to test him in the grappling. Americani's a very high level grappler, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Jack handles the grappling exchanges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you got Makwan coming; he's 1-2 coming into these fights. Jack Shore suffering his first loss, but. So both guys got a little chip on their shoulder, and you know they're gonna bring it for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get on this main card. So let's. Why don't you start us off, James? What do you think about Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze?
Okay, so we all know Roman Dolidze is coming in hot, right? He's on a huge win streak right now, or maybe I'm saying huge. It was at 4 or 5 right now. Let's take a look here at Roman Dolidze. He is coming off of 3 wins in 2022. All KO TKOs against Kyle Dawkins, Phil Haas, and Jack Hermanson. That was a big test for him. And then he had a decision win in 2021 in June. So, yes, he's coming on a 4-fight win streak. But three knockout finishes in a row. But Marvin Vettori, we all know, is hard to finish.
Yeah.
And Marvin Vettori really is that guy. He will fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. He doesn't care whether it's the champ, Whitaker, Costa at light heavyweight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, I'm going to take Marvin Vettori here.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's going to be too hard to finish. I feel like Roman might be, might gas himself out chasing after the finish, trying to finish Marvin Vettori. I mean, Izzy couldn't even finish Marvin Vettori in 10 rounds.
Yeah, both
8
these
rounds. I'm sorry.
Both these dudes are jacked, huge. Marvin Vettori has one of the best chins in the UFC. You know, we saw him eat those Paulo Costa big, light heavyweight.
He was blocking some of them with his forearms,
Yeah.
but those still go through. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Costa was kicking him with everything he had. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, and Marvin trying to get his name back after fighting our boy Bobby Knuckles. But like I said, I don't see Marvin getting like knocked out or anything like that.
No,
I know that Dvalishvili is very slick with the grappling. If I would say Dvalishvili is going to get a win, it's going to have to be like either by like a heel hook or something like that. And just like get in there with the grappling. But Dvalishvili is a very dangerous striker. Very dangerous striker, and then also dangerous on the ground. So he has a couple of ways to win, but I don't think that he's gonna crack that Italian chin, dude.
No, he's not cracking.
It's insane, man.
No.
All right. Okay, the next fight on the main card is a women's flyweight bout between Jennifer Maia and Casey King O'Neill.
Who do you got in this fight?
I'm gonna take Casey O'Neill.
I am also with Casey O'Neill.
She's on a nice roll here. And I think this is a great test for her. Jennifer Maia has really good grappling too. We saw her
for the belt.
Yeah, fought for the belt against Shevchenko. Had Shevchenko in some bad ways in the grappling, but Casey's a very well-rounded fighter, and she's young in her career. And I think this is a excellent opportunity for her to just springboard into that title talk. About who's up next, but.
Talk about another stacked division. Women's flyweight is starting to fill up and it's starting to look a lot more interesting, especially with Alexa Grasso as your new champion. Yeah,
we kind of had a couple years there where it was just kind of a little bit, dull. There wasn't too much going on, but now you have, a lot of contenders like Casey O'Neill. And then, just what happened with Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. And, you have a lot of really good fighters. What's the other girl that just fought recently? She just beat Jessica Andrade.
Well, let's go over here. Hang on.
I apologize to her because I'm a big fan of her, but I don't know why I'm blanking on the name right now.
So right now, if I break it down, you've got Alexa Grasso as your champion, Valentina Shevchenko sitting at number 1, Manon Fiorot sitting at number 2, Tyler Santos at number 3, Erin Blanchfield is probably who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's who she is. Yeah, Erin Blanchfield.
Jessica Andrade still sitting there strong at number 5. You've got Caitlin Chukagian at 6, Lauren Murphy at 7, Jennifer Maia at 8, Amanda Ribas at 9, who's also coming off of a hot win.
Yep.
Viviana Araújo, Andrea Lee, Casey O'Neill, Macy Barber, Tracy Cortez, and Cynthia Calvillo.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of cool personalities, in this division too. Like a lot of fighters that you love to like kind of watch their content outside and see what they're doing, but love to see them fight in the cage as well. But and
I'd love to see Tatiana Suarez move up to women's flyweight and just make it that much more interesting.
Oh,
Why not?
Definitely. Yeah.
Do it, Tatiana.
Yeah, no, Erin Blanchfield was like, was kind of like who everyone was talking about, like, oh, she's going to be the one to get to Shevchenko, but then Alexa Grasso pulled off what she did. But yeah, it's a very, very entertaining division, and I'm excited to see what's going to go down in the next year. So, all right. So next we have a welterweight bout between Gunnar Nelson and Brian Barberena. Do you have anyone in this fight? What's going on?
I'm taking Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
We're going with Bam Bam.
Oh yeah. If we know that anyone's going to deliver a fireworks fight, it's going to be Barberena.
Yeah. What was his last fight? Robbie Lawler?
I believe so. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
What do you got for Gunnar Nelson? What was his last fight? No, RDA subbed Brian Barberena, but his last win before that was against Robbie Lawler. All right, what's Gunnar got? I know Gunner's been on a little bit of a break, hasn't he? No, he
took a break and then came back.
Sato last year. He only fought once. It's been a year. He fought last March, and he lost to Gilbert Burns prior to that.
Okay.
In 2019, but from 2019 to 2022, he was out, and then coming back in 2023. Brian Barberena, good good opponent for Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah, I think the matchmaking's good here. You know, Gunnar Nelson did take some time off, but now he's you know, trying to put some wins together. Hopefully 2023 will be a good year for him, so he can put some wins together. But you know, he's got a tough opponent with Brian Barberena. Brian's super tough. You know, it's hard to put him away. He's like one of those guys that is just
no doubt. And you got a 34-year-old, a 33-year-old. Both of them got some miles on them. Both of them have been in a lot of fights. They've been in some wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this will be a good fight. It'll be a good fight for both men. But I am riding with the Bam Bam.
Gotcha.
I think Bam Bam wins the fight, and I do think he gets that finish.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I think Brian can fight a finish somewhere, but he's got to be ready because Gunnar Nelson's gonna want to take this to the ground. You know, he's gonna.
No, his takedown defense has got to be on full display.
Yeah, he's Gunnar Nelson's gonna want to take this to the ground and probably try to find something there. But yeah, it should be a good fight. Really entertaining fight. And then we got our co-main event, which I know we're super hyped for. So
I can talk all day about this one.
Yeah, start us off, dude.
All right, so I mean. Look, you got Justin Gaethje coming in here, right? And he's coming off that Oliveira loss. Mm-hmm. And so he's got that chip on his shoulder. He's had his break. He's had his time to recover. And I think the whole Trevor Whitman camp has had to have turned it up, you know, coming out of 2022. And I've been saying all year, I've been saying since the end of last year that this is comeback season. And I do think Justin Gaethje is on my list. I know he's on my list for comeback season. And I think he gets it done against Rafael Fiziev in an impressive way. Although I do appreciate that Rafael Fiziev's Muay Thai is extraordinary. He's incredibly fast. His head movement, his counters, like you've said to me, his weight distribution with his footwork is fantastic. Mm-hmm. But I think Justin Gaethje is going to eat those legs up. He's going to eat that face up with those hooks. And if he can rip to the body as well, which we rarely see Justin Gaethje do, I think he can find a way to put Rafael away. Yeah,
Fiziev has a lot on his plate here with taking on Gaethje. You know, they were kind of calling for this fight to happen after Fiziev's last win, you know, over RDA. But yeah, like you said, you know, we know that Justin Gaethje's number one weapon is going to be those leg kicks, dude. Like that's what he's going to just start the fight off with. And, you know, I think another thing that, you know, probably Trevor Whitman's camp is like training for too is with Fiziev having such a good Muay Thai base, he's going to be looking to check those kicks and stuff like that. And so, you know, they're going to be working with Justin on how to set up those kicks properly. So he just doesn't, you know, throw them blindly and just hope for the best. But he actually, you know, gets a nice piece of the leg on there and is able to kind of weaken him there. But yeah, I got a lot of respect for Justin Gaethje. You know, he's going to try to make this fight into a dog fight. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is Fiziev gonna let him? You know, we all know what Justin Gaethje wants to do, and that's to turn it into like a dogfight. And is Fiziev gonna even like let him get the reach for that? Which will be, you know, we'll have to find out. But yeah, Fiziev's combos are really nice. I mean, both guys' combos are really nice. I think Fiziev has a little bit more weapons at his disposal. Just because of the Muay Thai with, you know, kicks. When's the last time? I can't even think of the last time I've seen like Justin Gaethje try to throw like a head kick or even like set up a head kick. It's not really one of his weapons.
It's not one that he likes to whip out very often.
Yeah, usually when he puts someone down or puts someone away, it's going to be with the hands. And, you know, we've seen Fiziev use multiple techniques, you know, with the boxing, with kicking and stuff like that. So I think the matchmakers did a great job on this one.
They did. And Fiziev called for this fight. Fiziev is definitely feeling himself. He's definitely confident about this fight. I mean, it's the fight he wanted. It's the fight he asked for, and he got it. But I don't think there's a way that Fiziev can, unless he finds a way to finish Justin Gaethje quick, I don't think there's a way that he can stop this from becoming a dogfight. Justin's going to take the fight where he wants it to go. He's going to push that pace. And it's just going to come down to whether or not, which man finds the finish first. I guess Trevor Whitman would say whoever makes the first mistake, right?
Yeah.
But Justin Gaethje has got so much experience in dogfights. Yeah. Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Michael Johnson, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, and the list goes on and on. You know, I mean, it's going to be fireworks, but I think Justin Gaethje he's going to find that win.
Yeah. Fiziev hasn't had the competition, you know, like Justin Gaethje's had, but you know, he's put a couple of wins together, and it's going to be a really entertaining fight. So the question I have kind of now about these two guys coming out of this fight, whoever gets the win, what do you think happens with, you know, whoever gets the win? Do you think that they can usurp someone like Dustin Poirier for a title shot, or the winner of Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush?
I would argue that's why Dustin Poirier doesn't have a matchup yet. I bet that they're saving him for the winner of this fight because they just booked Charles and Beneil. Who knows what's going to happen with Islam and Volkanovski, and it was the hottest topic anyone would talk about. But then John Jones came back, and everybody forgot for a minute.
Right. Yeah.
Here we are on the trilogy. I mean, this is the UFC's March Madness. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. No, I could see the winner of this fight kind of getting matched up with maybe Dustin Poirier, because we know Islam's going to take some time off of Ramadan. And they might do that. They might do a rematch with Volkanovski because it's kind of like a weird kind of up in the air topic of did Islam win and all this stuff, and then all the controversy behind it after the fight. But it'll be I think the winner of this fight might get someone like Dustin Poirier. We could see a rematch between Justin Gaethje and Dustin, and then maybe Dustin gets in there fresh with Fiziev. So we'll just see. So yeah. All right, so main event time.
Main event time. Let's go. Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3, the trilogy.
So to start it off, me and James, we were together when we watched the second fight in Salt Lake.
Yes, we were.
So what was that night? What was that night like for you when you? I mean, beginning to watch that fight, and then like when everything happened with the head kick.
Okay. All right. If we walk through that night for me, I'm excited. All we can talk about is Kamaru Usman, pound for pound, #1, greatest welterweight of all time, about to tie Anderson Silva's record, and it was supposed to be a walk in the park, right? That's what everyone expected. And first round comes out. Leon gets the takedown. Oh, no. But he couldn't find a way to finish it. It's all safe. Okay, let's see what happens. And then Kamaru does what Kamaru does for 3 rounds. It was everything we expected for 3 rounds. And then that 4th round for 4 minutes looked like, it was just going to be a coast of a win for Kamaru. And then next thing I know, I'm sitting on the couch, slack-jawed, just cannot believe my eyes. The head kick heard around the world.
Yeah.
And young Eliah over here is FaceTiming his family, doing high knees through the living room.
That was hype, man.
Can't believe it. And I'm stunned. I don't think I've ever been that stunned in real time by an MMA moment.
Yeah. No, like, your guys' reaction where you were just, the jaw dropped and you were like in awe of what actually happened. Cause we couldn't believe it. And I just started screaming, dude. It was insane. I mean, cause that's the thing I love about MMA is we thought that Usman was just going to, just demolish Leon for all those rounds, cruise to the victory, get the belt. And then Leon just pulled it out, and, we've all seen, the clips of him in his corner and just like a beautiful moment between them. And, it was a crazy night. And I'm super excited now to see Usman come back and, prove to everyone and let everyone know that, I might be older in age, maybe getting out of my prime years, but
y'all must have forgot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He is so dangerous. And, we don't give him as much credit, with the hands, but he's really kind of crafted that over the years. I think, being with Trevor Whitman, Trevor's kind of helped him with his boxing a little bit more, setting it up. And the jab has gotten to a, different level for him.
Let's talk about what he did to Tyron Woodley to win the belt. I mean, that was insane. He just held Tyron Woodley up and hit those punches to the ribs and just ripped him to the ground. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. The way Kamaru can just like kind of smear people for a whole fight, he has that ability. And, and it's good that I like to see him that he's like getting more confident with the hands and stuff. But, with that, you got to stay disciplined because he's up against Leon Edwards. And, Leon's dangerous in any situation. We saw that.
Right.
And, but I think there's a lot of factors, we've talked about kind of who we're picking in this fight. And, I think I'm still going to ride with Leon. I don't want to, I love both these fighters. Both these fighters are some of my favorite guys in this division. But I don't want to be the guy because I've said, Leon in the past, and I'm going to keep on riding with it. But I would not be surprised, if Usman, does what we all think he's going to do. But I think there's a lot of factors that are in the favor of Leon, a home crowd, but sometimes, that can be a curse. We see that with like Derek Lewis and stuff
Literally
like that.
The state of Texas, I swear.
Yeah, don't let Texas fighters fight in Texas, guys. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Adrian Yanez, you let him because he had that good win over Tony Kelly, but yeah, I don't know. It can be a curse sometimes, but I think Leon has a lot of factors. The last fight was at Salt Lake City, and we all know that Kamaru trains and stays at elevation in his fight camp, so he's going to have a good month or two at elevation, being in Denver area. And Leon didn't have that, so he came into that fight week in Salt Lake just not as prepared as Kamaru was, altitude wise, and we saw that in the fight, with Leon getting gassed out. And we saw Kamaru kind of slow down maybe a little bit, but not compared to the amount that Leon did. So
I think Kamaru is going to do what Kamaru does. I think he's either going to find a way to grind him out, and if the finish is there, he'll go after it. But I really think it's going to be 5 rounds of what we saw last time for rounds 2 through 3.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, let's eliminate the elevation excuse. Okay, let's cut that out for just a minute. And let's say, what did you see from Leon Edwards outside of the head kick, which was beautifully set up? I'm not taking anything away from that. It was far from a lucky shot, But outside of that, what do you take away from that fight that makes you believe Leon Edwards will win?
Yeah, most of it happened in the early times in the fight. And I feel like in certain exchanges, he was able to get, like we saw him land a nice left hook when Kamaru was pulling away, and it kind of like stunned Kamaru for a second, but that was like one exchange, in the second round. And then we saw him actually be able to get a trip and take Kamaru down and get the back position. But it kind of seemed like, if Kamaru had a little bit more time, he was able to kind of roll him over, use that kind of baseball bat kind of grip style and get over and get on top. But I think with Leon, his biggest thing is going to just be the mental game, that he is a high level fighter and he can strike with this guy. But I've talked about it multiple times, is that wrestlers ruin game plans.
Yes, they do.
Like no other.
Yes, they do.
Because
like
the
we
takedown
just saw last weekend with Merab and Yan.
Yeah, because takedowns are always going to be coming your way, and you always have to be prepared. And so Leon's not going to be as comfortable striking because he knows he has to defend takedowns. And if he puts himself in a bad way with the hands or with his kicks, that's going to give Kamaru a big opportunity to take him down. And Kamaru's just going to, drive the fight where he wants to go.
So this is, like you just said, wrestlers ruin game plans, right? And I truly believe with Kamaru's boxing, with what he's learned from Trevor Whitman and what he already has in his wrestling arsenal, we will very well see a repeat of last weekend's fight just between Kamaru and Leon this time. But Leon does know he can catch him.
Yeah.
Leon knows that he can find that opening. He knows he's done it before. He knows he can do it again. He can catch that golden snitch and win that 100-point shot to win the game.
Yeah.
To win the fight. So I do believe Leon will be looking for more of those openings. But that being said, if he's spending all of his time chasing those openings instead of dealing with what's in front of him, he might get caught himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the thing I love about MMA. We can sit here and talk all day about what's going to happen, but we don't know until Saturday night.
Exactly. And, it's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that with any sport, but I swear with combat sports, it feels so much more personal. It feels so much more invested, in these fighters' lives and what they're doing, and it's just so exciting. I can't wait. Saturday night's going to be fireworks.
Awesome. Yeah.
Saturday afternoon for us over here on the West Coast, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be a really fun morning. I'm super excited for these fights. And we'll come in next week and we'll see, how wrong I am, because I'm on a hot streak, dude, of being wrong with my picks right now.
Yeah, no kidding. We were wrong on almost every fight last card, so let's see what we get this time.
Yeah, awesome. Is there anything else we want to talk about, or?
No, I feel like we're all right to close it out, and we'll see these guys to break it down, and then we'll be talking about Sandhagen versus Vera.
Awesome. Yeah, so this was the 10-Ounce Fight Club with Eliah.
And James.
And we'll catch you next week, guys. Have a good one.